Hello and welcome to the Alchemist Inkwell.
This is your spiritual podcast for grounded people.
I'm Emily and I am not grounded today. So I'm just gonna put that into the ether. I know I keep saying that. And honestly, I've actually been pretty grounded. I've been pulling in a lot of energy from Earth. I've been feeling pretty content with that overall, I think. But today I am not.
Rightfully so. It's chaotic. It's a chaotic time. And I don't know if you guys can hear all the tippy tappies of corgi toes. It's just an incessant over here right now. They're everywhere. I adore them. But yeah, it's a chaotic time. But the upheaval, and I will say, as we're recording this, Mercury and Uranus are squaring each other. So upheaval is kind of a thing. But we're
Yeah.
doing our best. So, by the way, I'm KristaLyn, and I am grounding the heck out of myself as much as I can because in this time, life has turned upside down for so many of us included, and we take our grounding as we can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, just I guess kind of on that note too, a couple things I want to say about the state of the world because this is not going to be a state of the world episode. I'm just
No.
going to put that out there at all. Just a couple brief things. One, as we've been saying this whole time, everything is not how it seems on the surface. Do not let the overwhelming amount of information overwhelm you to the point of freezing you.
Hmm.
Please
Yeah.
take it in bursts, take it in doses, let stuff play out before you decide how you're going to feel about it. Like, very much be intentional and aware of how much you're absorbing and how often you're absorbing it. Stay aware of what's going on, but don't let it deter you. Don't let it overwhelm you. Let it process before you decide what actions you're going to make or how you're going to feel, those types of things. Just as your
Hmm.
reminder to do that, because I think it's a really important reminder right now, because we're getting fed by a fire hose, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's
I
just not
actually
fair.
had the audiobook I've been listening to broke this week for like
I'd
3 days in
cry.
a row. It is not
Nope.
working. I happen to have a physical copy of it, but I didn't want to use it because it's like a collector's edition and I wanted to keep it pretty. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure it's my guide's way of saying stop scrolling social media, read a physical book instead. And
Mm.
so I'm going to move over to the physical book and start doing more of that with like ebooks and stuff moving on.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been using the fan fiction method. Great.
Yep,
I talked about it
exactly.
last time, but
Yep. Yeah.
it's been fabulous. It's honestly like
Creativity and
really helped.
Yeah, creativity, creative projects, they are magic
Hmm.
and they are a great way to fill your time. And they are a great way to ground without being too grounded. Like you feel like you're flying even though you're grounded, which is really nice. Grounded as
It's
in being in
real.
the moment, not on the ground.
Oh, really lovely. Yeah.
Mm.
The other kind of thing that I do also just want to mention is like grounding's for you.
Mhm.
Like the reason we talk about grounding like this is like it's for you. It's not so that you can be better for everyone around you. Like that's like a side effect of it almost of
Yeah.
like grounding is so you have the power and energy you need to do the things you need to do to feel aligned with yourself, to feel like you're doing the things that are important. Like that's where you get a lot of the power from. So
Hmm.
even if there's so many things going on in the world, if you can take intentional time for grounding in whatever capacity, that's where strength comes from in a huge way.
Yeah.
So don't just think it's like, oh, I gotta lay on the ground to feel better. It's like, yeah, it'll help you feel better, but it's also pulling energy to like fuel what you're doing.
Hmm. It took me forever to understand the concept of grounding. I used to, when I was trying to figure stuff out, I would visit a lot of psychics and just be like, how do you do it? And I couldn't
Mhm.
find a mentor. So I would just visit a psychic and try to like figure out
Yeah.
what my tips should be. And every single one of them was like, you need to be more grounded. You need to be more grounded. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? And so
Hmm.
eventually I did get into the fact of it's like I feel like I am here and present and I am not panicked and I am in control and I'm maybe calm, not always. Sometimes I'm grounded and like ready for action. But it's just being present with yourself, being in that moment. And there could be different definitions to it, but that's what I found is like when I'm grounded, I'm in control of myself. And I'm not
Hmm.
like projecting or sending energy all over the place. It's with me.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny because very similar experiences. I did very similar things with other psychics being like, yeah, but what is that? How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm a reverse engineer type person where
Right,
like I'll
right.
go through a program and be like, oh, that worked. Reverse engineer it, apply it to my concept, see how this
Yep.
works over here. For sure. And it's so
That's
nice
how
to
the
not
guild
have to.
happened.
That's how the guild happened. 100%. That's how our guild of writers came about. But also, it's really cool that everyone listening doesn't have to do that. Like,
Hmm.
it's really cool. It was not fun. Just gonna put
Hmm.
that out there. Not a fun process.
Nope.
Um, it- Psychic stuff, spiritual stuff has been very gatekeepy until literally the last like 5 years. Like
Yeah.
before that, gatekeepy is, and it's still in a lot of ways
Hmm.
gatekeepy. But it's really nice that you guys don't have to go through that as much as we did. Because oh my God, it was suck.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day because I was out at a coffee shop and just like openly talking about my spiritual practice and like something mystical that happened. And I
Hmm.
remember a couple of years ago, I would have been out at a restaurant or something, and as soon as I talked about something mystical, I would have had to been like this and like talking about it so that the waitress doesn't actually accidentally hear and like, oh my God,
Hmm.
what if someone hears me? Now it's just like, you know what? It's a reality,
Yeah,
and I love it.
yeah. I mean, I get recognized in public, and I'm
Hmm.
like comfortable. Like being
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's cool," because people inevitably will walk up after and be like, "You do what? What do you do?" And I have to be like, "Just do weird psychic shit online. It's fine."
Yeah. I got a new CPA recently and they're like, "And what do you do for work?" And you have that moment of like, what can you handle about what I
Oh, I
do? Like,
know.
what's going to make
Uh-huh.
you still respect me? And I'm just like, I'm an astrologer and a podcast host and stuff. Like, I don't really know how to tell you what I do, but it's magical
Yeah.
and it
Mhm.
pays the bills. So leave me alone. Like,
Don't get on me about it. Oh, oh, yeah, it's definitely a time. Also, just gonna make a statement here because this has been a continued theme. Um, we're queer
yeah,
and
much so.
really active in the like I guess not quite revolution, but like equality movement in a lot of
Equity.
ways.
Yeah. We
Um,
want everybody to have a place and feel welcome. That's apparently
yeah,
a big no-no these days.
yeah, very feminist as well. Got
Hmm.
a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Hate big corporations, hate
Hmm.
them. No such thing as an ethical billionaire. Most people should know this. The reason I'm saying it though is if it's a couple of like slipped through the cracks,
Yeah.
to
Yeah. In
think that we
case.
maybe aren't this ones or that we care about people who are literal Yahtzees and bigots. We don't.
Hmm.
Just put that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this is
not
not a safe
grounded.
place for you.
They need some grounding.
Yeah, if you support all of the hatred and literal horrific horrific things that are happening, and you think that those are the things that our country needs or that those are the right things, this is not your spot.
Yeah, no,
It's just
you
not. So please go
you
somewhere else.
will be happier elsewhere until or if
Hmm.
you find that you change your mind and you're like, wow, that was a lot. I really want to find a place where I can do differently, which I would say is probably better. Then
Definitely,
we're here. Yeah.
yeah, if the way if anyone is listening to this that is in this mindset, the way that you fix this, that you become a better person, is to just stop being full of hatred. Just
Hmm.
stop thinking other people are the problem. All those things. Wait, change your mind? Come on back.
Hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're
Um,
here.
I had a couple incidents happen this week. This is where this stems from. A couple incidents
Right,
occur.
right.
One person literally like chose to email me and basically say, like I support what the current president is doing and not everyone's having a hard time with this and you need to, consider us too, basically.
Mm.
Which to me, long walk, short pier. Enjoy your fucking self. 'Cause like no,
Yeah, yeah.
that's not a thing over
And
here.
what a weird world that person gets to live in where they think literally everything should accommodate just them.
Yeah.
I'm all for
I'm like,
accommodations. I require some myself, but I don't find them everywhere. So I go the places
right?
where I know that like they're right for me. And I
Yeah.
recommend that to anybody.
Hmm. I'm like sitting over here. I'm like, I actively speak about being anti-racism and pro-Gaza and
Hmm.
anti-colonization and anti like genocide. Like, how did you get here? Like, This is not your place.
I think you're
But
lost.
yeah, there's been a couple things like that that have occurred. Um, I forget, someone else said something. Oh, I forgot what it was. Oh, someone was like, I don't believe in demons, and I'm surprised you do. And they're like, do you mean just lower vibrational beings? And I like almost went off because I was like, this isn't
Mm,
about belief. Like, and that feels like very in the same vein, where it's like I'm at the point where I'm like, I believe everything. I believe in everything. I just
mhm,
choose what I work with. I do not
mhm,
believe in rules though. So
mhm.
anything that tries to take spirituality and conform it to rules, that I don't believe in. But I
Yeah.
believe in everything else, like
Yep.
all the things,
Yeah.
and just choose to engage with what I choose to engage with. But it was again
Who
very
knew?
similar of like controlling the like love and light mindset, blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Here's a fun fact. Spirituality, like almost everything else in the universe, is a spectrum.
yeah,
So it's got room for a lot of stuff. Yeah.
hmm absolutely. Um, yeah. On that note, if you're like, man, I wish there was a spiritual place online we all could gather. I may have some super fun announcements about that coming up really soonish.
Mm-hmm.
Soonish.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a teaser. This is some like
Mm-hmm.
what? Get excited, but it's a couple months. It takes a while to develop things. But
Yeah.
that might also be coming up. So
Yeah.
just gonna a
Mm-hmm.
little
Mm-hmm.
pepper in there.
Stoked about it. Yeah. So this is not a political episode, but it is a Venus is clearly an Aries episode.
Yeah, I just felt like it was important for us to
Mm-hmm.
make that comment.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's a moment
It's
we're having.
important. It's important. A
Hmm
big discussion right now, and this actually goes into the Leo full moon we're having this week, is not dimming your light to fit in the place you are, but shine your light as brightly as possible and find where its light is appreciated. Like
Yeah.
if this isn't where your light goes, go where your light goes. And
hmm
there are ways to find that. I went through it a ton. It's going to be up on, it already is up on my YouTube. My lives are on YouTube now and the replay is there and you can find it. That's so cool. But yeah, the how to do that is up there and I'm going to try to make it like a smaller video too, but that's a lot of mathing for me. So I'll work on it.
Good to know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, good. Yeah. So we do have a full moon this week.
Yep.
The energy of this week, by the way, really fast moving.
Hmm.
Really fast
Hmm.
moving. I mean, if you're already looking like, what? We're already in the 10th of February. We are.
Hmm.
We are already at the 10th of February. We're already past the Sports Go Sports event. I
Yeah.
mean, that's that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at the 10th. You guys are at like the 14th. What's it like in the future?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Happy Valentine's Day, I guess.
oh yeah.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but in case someone does, I
Yeah.
hope you're getting good chocolate.
Yeah. I do just because I have kids and I'm like, love, I
Mm.
can give you more gifts. Um, Weston, I was like, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day? He's like, go to Egypt for 3 weeks. I was like,
Yeah,
nope.
done. Yeah.
We'll have a yummy dinner together there at some
Mm-hmm.
point. But we're actually going to Rome beforehand too for a couple days too,
Hmm.
so that's kind of like our little space.
Yeah.
I'm also doing, content things there for reasons.
For cool, cool, cool
Mhm.
reasons.
For cool reasons. But yeah, that it is also Valentine's Day this week, which I didn't
Hmm.
think of until you said that this exact moment. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. We got the full moon going
Yeah.
on. We got very fast moving energy. It does feel very it's aggressive. The energy of this week
Hmm.
is very aggressive, I think is the way
Yeah.
that I'm going to put it. And you said, Venus and Aries. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. It's a
Yeah. That
lot of
and
like, yeah.
the only aspects this week are squares with Uranus. So,
Oh, great. We're over here playing Minecraft.
hmm.
But it very much feels like a boundary week. It
Hmm.
feels like I'm changing all this shit that doesn't work with me week.
Hmm.
Um, It's a little intense, honestly. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. It doesn't feel bad like last week felt, where I looked at that energy and I was like, oh, yuck, this isn't great. This is yucky stuff. Also, please don't get sick or injured, which, by the way, I hate being a psychic sometimes because I will I will make a prediction based on the energy and the way that it looks, and then it'll come true, and it fucking sucks.
And it's annoying because you feel like you're telling yourself, I told you so. Yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
100%. And I'm like, I had all of the tools to prepare for this. And guess what? I did. And it still happened because I'm good at my job. Damn it.
Yeah, I get that way too, where sometimes I'll
Mhm.
I'll be doing something and I end up reading my own horoscope and I'm like, oh, dang it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just it's a anyway, it was a shit week for me, in case you're
Mhm.
wondering. But well, I guess all three of my kids got hurt in different ways,
Oh.
actually. Um, Lee slipped on the ice and like wrecked her hip. She missed like 2 days of school because she couldn't really walk. And then TJ, you remember those scooters in PE that have the four wheels and you'd sit on them and they have handles
Yeah.
and you'd roll around? They still
But you
do
run
those,
over your
which is a shock to
fingers.
me. Yeah, he did. He ran over
Okay,
his
because I
finger.
did that a lot. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Not like bumped it with it, but like fully ran over it. And it's
Hmm.
like huge and swollen and all torn up. I was like, oh my God. Um, yeah, and then other stuff happened. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to cry. But
Let's go
yeah,
back
it
to
was
PE
not
trauma.
it was this go back to PE trauma. But I was like, damn it. I knew this would happen. It doesn't matter. I was like pumping everybody full of vitamin C in my house, be like, no
Hmm.
sickness, and they get hurt. I'm like, "Ugh." All that's to say, yeah, last week wasn't great. So when I say the energy of this week is better, I do mean it, but it is aggressive. It is like watch what you decide bothers you and see if it's worth
Hmm.
it.
Yep. Yeah. Be careful that you
Hmm.
don't accidentally say something you don't mean. You know, give yourself an
Yeah.
outlet for your emotions and then do things. Write an aggressive letter and then give
Mhm.
yourself the permission to edit it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you still feel good about it when you reread it, send it. That's fine, valid.
Hmm.
But just give yourself the availability for a second chance.
Yeah. Some people are worthy of your anger. Some situations are
Hmm.
worthy of your anger. Some
Yeah.
issues are worthy of your anger. That doesn't mean all of them are, though. So just be like
Mm-mm.
really intentional with that and throw it where it's actually use.
And sometimes second draft anger is even
Oh
better
yeah.
than first draft anger.
Oh, for sure. I love me some second draft anger.
Right? It's like,
After
no,
I've
I could
vented
say
about it
this
to
even
somebody
more.
who's not involved,
Hmm.
I'll vent about it to someone who's not involved, and then it feels like it's sharp and it gets
Yep.
poignant and it gets like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a fine
Look out
line.
because I know what I'm saying now.
I mean this.
Yeah.
I mean it when I say it now.
I've thought about it. This is premeditated.
Premeditated anger. I
Which
love
is
it.
so appropriate for a spiritual practice, right? Premeditated. You could meditate on it and then still
Yeah.
be angry and then say what you mean to say.
Right? Yeah, no, I agree. I also think so, two things that I also note this week. One, I also think things break this week though, not like your
Yeah.
body, but like technology or
Hmm.
things
You might
dropping
drop your
things,
phone.
something like that. Yeah, like I really feel like it's a week of just stuff
Hmm.
breaking.
Hmm.
Which I've seen, which I'm like, could we not? I do have the appliance
Yeah.
repairman already set up to come tomorrow for my washing machine. I'm like, can we like not break more?
Right.
But I do feel like that there's an energy there. And when I look at the full moon, and please tell me what the astrology says on this, but when I
Hmm.
look at the full moon, it feels like it's the full moon that pulls into very much deeply into reality, like things that you have put as requirements for yourself
Hmm.
that aren't actually requirements to have success. Like the rules that are outdated are the things we're letting go of. And it's
Yep.
going to do that in like a pull it into relief where you actually see the rule and go, ew, yuck, I can't believe I've been subscribing to that. And then you release it.
Hmm.
Might not be the most comfortable or pleasant release, but it does get released that way. That's what
Yeah.
I'm seeing when I look at it.
So I've actually been talking about this in my Modern School of Ancient Wisdom Patreon since the new
Hmm.
moon.
Oh,
What we've got is a lot of Aquarian energy of societal norms that we are changing. We are
oh, okay, cool.
changing societal norms right now. And so now with the sun in Aquarius and the moon opposite in Leo, the sun, which rules Leo, is in its detriment. So it's thinking more about how do I fit in a bigger picture, less about me, which is fine to think about me, by the way. That's what keeps you alive. That's what helps you
Hmm.
understand who you are. It's good to do that. It's a part of thinking about yourself in the bigger picture, which is the whole point of this. The moon is now in Leo saying, how do I feel good about myself? What makes me feel the best about myself? And whose expectations can shove it?
Hmm.
So, and where do I go that I can be free of people's expectations that are unreasonable for me and find, you know, if I'm a fish, where do I find my pond? If I'm a monkey, where do I climb a tree? Like, where is my environment where the people are already built in, being people who share my interests? In reality, this can look like a conference, a gathering, an online group, or just
Hmm.
something where it's like, if you like writing, find other writers, write with them. If you like
Hmm.
astrology, find other astrologers, do astrology with them. If you like D&D, have a D&D group. And that's
Hmm.
where you find this camaraderie of built-in compatibility.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense from what I'm kind of seeing in the energy
Mhm.
too. Again, of just like, yeah, I don't want to do that like I'm not going to
Mhm.
follow that rule any longer. Goodbye, rule. That goes
Yep.
away. I
Yeah.
will also say I do feel a lot of creative energy coming back in the next basically like week or two. There's a lot of that that comes back in
Mhm.
for a lot of people because it was really suppressed over like December and January. The creative elements not there,
Yeah.
not there. Really
Mhm.
challenging to pull from the depths on those
Yep.
ones. But those it is coming back. I'm starting to see like wisps and winks and sparkles of it where I'm like, "Ooh, there's some magicy creation here. This is
Mhm.
sort of fun." Okay. Um, yeah. On that note, if you want to gather in person with some people, we are still accepting applications for our Sacred Spaces Getaway.
Mhm.
That is open for a little bit longer.
Yep.
Feel free to apply. We would love to have you there. You can
Mhm.
come and have a spiritual sleepover with us. If you want more information,
Yay.
we did a whole podcast about it.
We did.
But
We
that is
did.
the applications are still open for that for a little while
Yeah.
longer. So,
Mhm.
and it is a
Yeah.
West Coast event for those of you who are wondering.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
as well as Guild of Writers. That is
Yeah.
also open. If you're looking for some creative energy, that's where you can apply it, and you'll be
Well, and
perfectly timed with this energy coming in.
speaking of creative energy, like let's talk a little bit about the Guild of Writers because we just had
Yeah.
this really great inspiration that made
Mm-hmm.
this even more magical and even added more content and value to the program for writers. So what we
Yeah,
did
we
was
did.
we took the program that was originally 4 months and we decided for no additional cost, we're going to spread it out for over 8 months. So now
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get twice the content and twice the time and twice the availability from us for literally nothing extra. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a book that you're like, I'm ready to write, but I also would like to have a built-in group of friends and dedicated mentorship, both in an online curriculum weekly, holding you accountable, setting you up for success, and then live at least twice a month, you will have that in this curriculum. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel so good about it. I feel so good about it. And I'm really
Yeah.
excited. And if you have a story idea, we've been getting some pitches, and I got to tell you, um, Em and I will sit there and we'll read through them. And there are some that we reject. So, but you hear from us either way, and we're not mean about it. But there have been some pitches that we're just like, I need to see this story in reality. I cannot wait for
Mm-hmm.
this. So we really are excited for those people to be a part of this, and to be part of maybe your cohort when you join
Mm-hmm.
us. Um, Submit your pitch. You have nothing to lose. We're going to give you a compliment either way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even we'll be able to set you up with the whole curriculum and everything you need to be successful with a book that is then going to change the world. You know, we
Yeah.
started this conversation talking a little bit about who we are and what we stand for. And if you're looking for a form of activism, writing and creating a story that's going to entertain but also empower and inspire people and help them heal and feel understood and seen, that's
Mm-hmm.
huge. That's huge. It's going to be so
Mm-hmm.
necessary. And it's a long haul form of activism. It's not a one time thing, it is something that lasts forever. And the next time they start trying to ban books, yours will be on that list and people will be fighting for it, which is one of my aspirations. I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
when things cycle back around for the stupid stuff to happen again, may my book be one of the ones they want to ban because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And may they
Yep.
not succeed. Yeah.
May they not succeed. Exactly. No, honestly, I'm so excited about it. It's so aligned, and I can't wait to read the books that come out of this.
Mhm.
Truly. Like, it's going to be so magical. So, anyway, if you have a book idea, just take a shot. It's so worth it.
Mhm.
It's an equal parts spiritual program and equal parts writing program. We're not just saying it's worth it because, like, of course, we're running it, but it's worth it because we've done all the other programs.
Yeah. We we have we have walked so that we can run next to you.
Yeah. On the note of creative stuff too, so just kind of circling back in, we wanted to talk a little bit about right now the way a really easy way to access like energy work and energy healing is through music. And it's been
Mhm.
especially active the last couple weeks, which makes sense because in times of war, which is essentially what we're in,
Mhm.
music as activism is huge. It's super vital, it's super important. Um and it has a resurgence with that, and so that has been really big lately, and
Mhm.
we wanted to talk about that a little bit of how to like use music. And we're not saying like make your own music, we that of course is always magic, but just even songs in the sphere of the world that you can use intentionally to do energy work for yourself. It's super powerful. It is truly
Mhm.
like a gateway energy anytime you listen to anything.
Yeah. Music, like writing does, like consuming any kind of entertainment, it gets your brain into those brain waves where you are now
Hmm.
imagining things. And in that space where you're imagining things, you can change the way you perceive the world, but then also you can kind of wonkily change the world around you too. And you can feel like it's possible. And that's so necessary right now, to even start with the feeling that it is possible to make change and
Hmm.
for change, and to have a clear vision of what that change looks like when it is actualized, is a huge manifesting technique. And music is so good for it. I every day will listen to a playlist I have that feels empowering and makes me feel like an animated character, to be perfectly honest with you. And I dance around and I sing to it and I let it fill me. And I think it's
Hmm.
huge.
Yeah, I have a lot of curated playlists just for myself. I don't share them. I'm also an Apple Music person, not a Spotify person.
Mm.
Spotify just doesn't work with my brain. I can't. I've tried so many times. It doesn't work for me. And that's fine. My kids love it and they've tried to teach me. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work up here. So like, I'm not going to do that. But, excuse me. Um, yeah, I have playlists that like invoke different emotions. I also have playlist like I will also ask my guides like what should I listen to right now to channel better? And I'll put on that like whatever they like lead me towards. Like what feels
Mhm.
aligned for me to channel with? What should I Google to look up what should I channel with this or it's XYZ. Like right now, the playlist I've been adding to the most is the rage playlist. So it's a feminine rage playlist where it's just songs to rage to,
Yeah.
which has been really nice. Lots of rage up in here. Um, this past week.
So my Patreon student group, we have a playlist that we made after November. And I
Hmm.
was like, I'll share with you the playlist I'm making for this, but I'm going to warn you, Black Parade is on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a moment to really use that as activation. What's prompted a lot of this, I think, is there's a lot of discussion of Lady Gaga's new song, which is very much a
Mhm.
spell, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it is very much energy
And
work and a
she's
spell.
admitted to that. She's admitted to
Yeah,
that being part of her process. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of artists that actually admit to
Hmm.
that, to be totally honest.
Good for
But
them.
was
Yeah.
watching the Grammys because my eldest daughter has informed me that I know nothing about music while she was listening to music I listened to in middle school. So that's where I'm at
Mm.
as a parent, in case you're
Yeah.
wondering.
My
So we were
oldest
watching the
passage.
Grammys. We were watching the Grammys at her insistent. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, I definitely don't understand. I wasn't there when this song came out or anything. Um, we were watching the Grammys because she's very into music right now, which I love for
Mhm.
her. Like I'm so glad she does that. And but ordinarily I wouldn't watch. I'm not really a reward show person. I'll watch the Oscars
Mhm.
exclusively because I love film, but like that's it. And we were watching it and I saw Lady Gaga's music video premiere. And I'm like, oh, that's magic. That was a spell. Like, look at that.
Mhm.
Like, that was this connotation over here, the red of this, and blah, 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 blah. And the kids were like, all right. Okay,
Mhm.
mom. Sure it was. I'm like, it is. But it really, really is. Like, and listening to it again, I was like, oh yeah, super activated intentional magic. So I think that's like, and seen a lot of spiritual communities kind of have conversations about that right now, which I love. Let's talk about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Fantastic. The other thing too is I also think, especially with the way that Kendrick Lamar's stuff is currently going, and I'm not a fan of his really, but it's very activated as well. Like even with the
Mhm.
Super Bowl halftime and seeing him at the Grammys, whatever, I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool
It's
activated energy," because it's literally a diss track against someone who's like a known, you know, pedo. I
Yeah, it's
don't
embodying
want to say
something
that.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like getting rewarded to stand up ethically for things. And
Hmm.
he had like you didn't see this during the Super Bowl, but I did a lot of research on this after fact. But he
Hmm.
had a whole pro Gaza section of his Super Bowl halftime show where he got up and had a Gazan flag and like talked about genocide and all these things, which of course they didn't air on TV because
Yeah.
censorship.
But I
But
love who was in the audience, and I hope they had to look at it.
they did all these richest people in the world were in that
Hmm.
audience, like such rich people at capitalism's biggest day of the year,
Hmm.
sitting there and just being like, wow, like it is the capitalist prom. Like that's what it is. And to have like I mean, even people even dress up for it. Like it's so
Hmm.
many good cosplays in that audience of their favorite
Uh-huh.
players. It's just
Yeah.
adorable. I'm not if you if you love the Super Bowl, I love that for you. I'm not trying to be perfect like insulting, but also
Yeah.
like it is capitalist prom. Like we all know that,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's really what that is. But um having that like be rewarded on kind of a global stage too. So anyway, all that's to say, music is very magic, whether it was written intentionally as magic or not. But more and more, it's being written intentionally as magic, just like
Hmm.
books are being written intentionally as magic. All
Yes.
of that is stuff that is worth investing your time in, especially if you're struggling to connect right now. Connect through music, connect
Hmm.
through reading, even connecting through TV shows and other high vibe entertainment. But music specifically right now is really having a moment.
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It's
I'm
super
happy about
important.
it.
Hmm.
I feel like it goes in waves for me too, where I'll be like, I'll find a ton of music for like 2 months, all these new songs and music, and I'm so into
Yeah.
it. And then it'll go dry for like two
Yep.
months and I haven't found anyone new and I get bored. And then it happens again. I'm like, what is with that?
Yeah. See, I don't listen to I like a Spotify Wrapped would be wasted
Hmm.
on me because I'm listening to the same stuff all the
Same
time.
things over and over, me too,
Yeah. Like everybody was talking about the Wrapped. I'm like, I don't even want to bother. Like I know what it's gonna say.
right? Other than our Spotify rap is great for the podcast.
For
We
the
love you all.
podcast, that
You
was
guys
super fun. Yeah.
are
Except for
awesome.
the people out there who also listen to Joe Rogan. Again, refer to the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
That was
Which,
weird.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, sometimes he'll has guests on that are worth listening to. Like the
Hmm.
guests that he'll have on are sometimes like worth the
Hmm.
time. But there was like this really weird like people also listen to Joe Rogan that listen to you, and I was like,
Yeah, I
is it
was
just
like,
because Joe Rogan like owns this kind of in a way,
yeah.
or is this like a real thing?
Like, is he on everybody's?
Yeah, if you're listening to Joe Rogan, um,
It's
he's a
interesting to me that you like
misogynist
us
with a
too.
capital M. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's a misogynist with a capital N. Just please be really aware of that, not to
Hmm.
mention the racism and other things that he spews. So, like, very conscious of what he actually is bringing to the table.
Hmm. Just like
It's
music has intention and
so
magic
great.
behind it, someone's
Hmm.
messaging and words are also getting
Hmm.
into that subconscious part of your mind. So you want to be very careful with who you trust with that. If you're here, I really appreciate that you trust us with that. We take
Hmm.
that seriously. We are conscious of it and we don't mess with it. But other people may not even be conscious that they're having that influence. So it's behooves all of us to be curating our content.
Yeah. Also, this week, on that note, watch re up your wards. It is
Yeah.
a super re up your wards week,
Yeah.
please. And watch out for negative spiritual attachment,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of stuff that is glomming on to people's emotions who are very not aware of their own emotions. And then when
Hmm.
they throw those emotions at you, they're throwing that thing at you too.
Yeah.
So
So if you
just,
find yourself like raging and you're like, oh, I'm angry, but you have to assign it to something or you have to figure out why you're angry, it may not be yours. First
mm-hmm,
reaction, release it and send it, return to sender, even if you want to, or just cleanse
mm-hmm,
it off. And then see if you're still angry, because then there might be something that you need to address too. We don't want to
yeah,
bypass our anger by saying it belongs to someone else. We just want to make sure we're not getting more angry than we need to.
mm-hmm, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. So there's that.
Hmm.
Also, hug your pets.
Yeah.
Just hug your pets, okay?
Hmm.
Everybody, snuggles all across the board.
Love everywhere.
If you don't have a pet, get one. You need
Hmm.
one. Guarantee it.
Pets are great. As long
Right?
as you
If
can
this
take
is
care
your
of them and love
permission,
them. Yeah.
right? If you need permission to get a pet, this is us saying it. You have
Hmm.
our permission to get a pet.
Yeah.
Please get one right now.
Yeah.
Adopt, preferably.
Hmm.
As a I am a person with a house full of rescue animals. Rescue.
Yeah. They need us too. And they're
Mm-hmm.
so great. Ugh.
Oh my god, they're
I
the
didn't watch the
best.
Super Bowl yesterday. I watched the Puppy Bowl. So I had a Puppy Bowl party, which was so fun.
My puppy's snoring right there. Look,
Oh,
buddy,
Callum.
good. If
Oh
you're on
my
the YouTube, you get
goodness.
to see a little
Yeah. Mine
sleepy
are
Callum
not
sneak peek.
around. I'm not
Oh,
really sure where they are, but they're probably up to no good. Oh, someone's coming. Hi, Jack. He's like, you
I
called?
know his dumb little face.
He's
Um,
precious.
yeah, he's very
We
precious.
don't need something
Very,
complicated. We just
yeah,
need love.
yeah, two or
Where
three
are you?
brain
There
cells
you
at
are.
max.
Hang on, should I try? Should I try to bring him
You
up?
can try. Try to lift him. Try to lift him. You got
Here he
this.
is. If you want to
Oh,
cuddle something, I will share my dog with you.
he
Oh,
looks
don't type.
so unthrilled with
What
what's
is
coming
this?
right now.
How did
It's
I
like,
get up here? Hi,
uh-huh.
buddy. Good job.
Yeah,
Good
you guys are
job.
actually matching clothes right now, though.
I
Krista is dressed in like corgi color.
I am dressed in the same colors as Jack. It's pretty
Almost the same pattern. It's like pretty.
Oh my God. I love that. Thank you for pointing that out. Good job, buddy. You just made my day. Yes. Mm.
Amazing. Well,
All
thank you guys
right.
so much for being here. This was kind of a weird episode. We get it. Also, just gonna preface this. Our next couple, like basically the next four episodes, are gonna be all sorts of wiggly because we are recording them in varying different times, much in advance typically of what's actually going on. And because so many things are happening all at the same time. If it feels like for our next couple episodes, we're like our fingers not as much on the pulse of like what's going on in the world as it typically is, it's because we recorded it like 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind because we are traveling and we will be sharing tons of stuff on our socials about Egypt, from Egypt, with the Egypt stuff, with our Egypt travelers.
Mhm.
By the way, if you're traveling with us to Egypt, we're so excited.
I have
Um,
presents, and so do you. We have
yeah,
presents
we
for you.
we have presents for you, and we're so excited about it. Magical presents of wonderment. Um, but just know that if it feels a little funky, it's because we are doing a lot of it in advance and stuff, and then we'll do an Egypt recap, probably a multi-part Egypt recap. We'll be back.
Likely. Yeah.
We're there
Egypt
for a
trip one and
long
two.
time.
Yeah, but things to look forward to over the next month while we're in Egypt. We are pre-recording, so you will not miss a beat. You're going to get a
Yeah,
live from each of us. I'm going to
yeah,
help you through Venus retrograde on a live, so that you'll feel very prepared for that as much as we can be. We've got a sound healer coming on who is working. They're actually like a music theory major, and they're so good, and they
so good.
incorporate music and voice into the sound healing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. Also, they're a really dear friend of mine. If you are a forgotten storyteller, it's James. So
yeah,
this is great. We're really excited to bring James on.
yeah.
And then you'll have a
Best
lot,
sound healer I've ever,
yes,
ever done. Like
hands down. Yeah.
his sound healings are just i-
Hmm.
incredible.
Yeah, James
So
is the best at this. Um, and M's going to have a live as well. And then we're
yeah,
also going to have a standard episode. So there's plenty
yeah,
to look forward to. And we are super excited to be able to share this with you. And again, we apologize that we won't be as current as you're going through it.
hmm,
Yet again, you will be in our future. So,
yeah.
and we're looking forward to it.
That being said, too, we will also be building you guys up to eclipse season with these
Yes.
because
Yes.
if you're like, what again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it fun
Yep.
to be a human?
I
It's
have to record
fun.
my 2025 Aries ingress video next week, and the eclipses are the prelunations for the ingress. So
Super dope.
yeah, it's going to be
Love
an
it.
activating year.
Yeah, the first eclipse is actually when we're in Egypt with the second trip,
Hmm.
which is honestly, that's really cool.
That is cool. Yeah,
I'm
it's
actually here
in
for that.
Virgo too, so that'll be
Hmm,
interesting.
hmm.
Yeah, but
So
for
anyway,
anybody who's on that trip, don't worry. We've already planned for this. We've got you.
it's cool. I like
Hmm.
it. I think the
Hmm.
energy of it's going to be a whole experience. Talk about
Hmm.
activation. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Um, we'll be in Luxor. So
Hmm.
that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and we
Luxor's
love Luxor.
the best. Um, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. We love you all so dearly. Thank
Hmm.
you for being listeners to the podcast. And we hope that you take all of this energy and that you, one, two, three, go
Go
make some
make some
magic.
magic.
Yay!
Oh, no, not
Awesome.
doing that. Mm-mm.